Let's move to weather view controller, and here we are going to completely redesign and rewrite the logic for this view, because right now it's we are doing on a specific location and we are not able to see how many locations we have saved in our user default, so we are just showing for current location one view. But what we are going to start with is to add location coordinates, so our user can dynamically check the current location based on its GPS coordinates of the device. So in order to use the GPS coordinates, we are going to import core location, and also here on top I'm going to write a few variables. So let's put the mark vars, and the first one is going to be var location manager, and this is going to be type of CL location manager, and this is going to be an optional. And then I'm going to put another var, and this is going to be current location, and this is going to be a type of CL location coordinate 2D, and this is not going to be optional because we need our current location. And our class is complaining about our location manager there, but this disappeared. So let's also make some space here. For view did appear, I'm going to actually comment out all these, so nothing will happen whenever our view did appear function is called, because we're going to do it in a different way. So what I want to start with is to get my user's current location so we can display the weather. So in our view did load function, I'm going to call a function load, let's say location manager start, and this of course doesn't autocomplete because we don't have this function yet. I'm doing a call, but this function is not written yet. So let's go ahead and write this function. I'm going to actually scroll down and let's just do at the end. Let's put a mark here and call this location manager, and the function is going to be private func and this should be exactly the same function that we already called, so make sure you have no typos there. So what we want in location manager start function to happen, we want to check if this location manager was already started, because if it was, we don't want to do it again. And the way to check this, because by default our location manager is an optional, so by default it's nil, and we're going to check if it's nil, then we're going to initialize it. If no, we're going to just say that we want to monitor our location. So I say if location manager is equals to nil, so it means it wasn't started yet. I want to start it, so I say location manager, we need to initialize it first. I say CL location manager, and we're going to initialize it. Then we need to set some parameters. So we say location manager, and now I can unwrap this because I just instantiated my location manager. And then I want to say desired accuracy, and this is going to be equals to KCLL location CL location accuracy. And here you have different options. The best is the most accurate, but sometimes for different applications you don't want to have like exact pinpoint location of the user, because if you are using, for example, a weather, even if he's few kilometers wrong information is not very accurate, this is going to be okay because you are getting a weather for big area. But if you are going to check where the current device is, the best is to use the accuracy best. So this will give you the best option of the coordinates. In my case, okay, let's just for sake of our application keep it best. But this is not really required for our application anyway. So we say location manager, and then we want to say dot request when in use authorization. And the reason we are doing this because this is required by iOS to ask the permission of the user to use the current location. So if you don't have this, your application will most probably 99.9% be rejected from Apple App Store. To do this, we need to go to our info plist, and here we need to set our info plist location requirement so our user can see this. So I'm going to go on the last line, click on a plus button, and here I'm going to go to privacy. And here we have all this type of privacy. So if you want to use camera, you need to ask permission. If you want to use Bluetooth, if you want to use Face ID, health, for everything here, you want to ask permission first. So what we want is location, and we have always usage, location, usage, description, location when in use. So we are going to ask for this specific permission because our application doesn't need to use the location all the time. We need to have the device's location only when we are inside the application and it's being used. So let's choose this one, and let me open this. You can see what's going on here. So it's location when in use description. And what this means is we are going to give a value here, and this value will be visible in the application. So whenever you are downloading a new application and then says this application wants to use your location, this is the text what user will see when you are asking for permission. So make sure you put something cool here. So I'm going to say we need to use current location to show the weather. All right, you can put something short or something long, doesn't matter, whatever you want. If we don't have this, by the way, and we are asking for the permission here, our application will crash as well. So make sure you don't forget to set anytime you are using some kind of privacy, you have to put it in your info.plist file. Then I'm going to say location manager, unwrap this, and I'm going to set my delegate is gonna be self, and that's it. And once we initialize it, in case if is location manager wasn't initialized, once we do it, we want to say location manager, unwrap this, and then we say start monitoring significant location changes. Why we are doing significant location changes is because when there are minor location changes, we don't want to be notified, because if, let's say, my user is walking down the street, I don't want to change his location and download the weather information for every time he did 1 meter front or back, because the weather area is not really changed. So it gets complained about my weather delegate, the location delegate to self, is because we are not conforming to this protocol yet. So let's underneath here put an extension, and this is going to be extension to our weather view controller, and we are going to conform to the protocol of our CL location manager delegate. So now this error should disappear. All right, so this function is called whenever we start our application. So we can ask, we can get our location if it's not already set, and then we can ask for permission, and this permission is asked only once per application run. So you don't have to show the to user all the time to get his permission to use his location. only if user goes to settings and disables the permission, so this will be asked again.